On Saturday, November 2nd, starting at noon, Kevin Williams is helping sick kids by playing video games. He needs your help to raise $1,000 for the CHIO Foundation. Donate at extra-life.org/participants/347875.
Lights, camera, action!
Welcome to Ropes to Reels, part of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling, and wrestling is everything. I'm at Adam Gonta.
That's Sir F word.
Drew.
Yeah. What were we watching, Adam?
What are we watching?
What were we watching? What was it called? What was it called?
Hoboken?
Something like Brooklyn, like New York. This name is terrible. This name was terrible. And don't pretend that you knew exactly what the heck we were watching. Both of us forgot
several times
this week's movie.
With all apologies to members of the podcast community who may be listening to this episode from Bushwick, New York. It's not that we don't care. It's just we've never heard of your town until this movie.
And they don't reinforce that.
Like, it doesn't say Bushwick a lot.
I mean, it's called Hobbs and Shaw because it features Hobbs and Shaw.
Right.
This is called Bushwick because
it takes place in Bushwick. It makes sense.
That's like the easiest trademark they could afford.
They can't trademark. It's the name of a town.
I don't know, man.
I can't trademark Toronto.
Have you tried?
No.
There, you don't know.
I guess I don't. You're right. But one thing I do know is that we did watch Bushwick. I forgot it again.
It's very
so
difficult.
Forgettable.
Like literally in the midpoint. So I finally had time between last week's episode and this one to watch it. And for the love of all that's holy, I was on Netflix and I'm like, I have no flipping idea what the hell we were supposed to watch this week.
Well, Bushwick is what we watched, and we're going to get to our reviews for that in just a little moment. But first, there's a couple of reviews that I want you to do real quick.
Oh, shoot.
First and foremost, we were waiting for a friend of yours to come over before we started recording, and for the first time ever, you played a Fire Pro Wrestling game. You played Fire Pro Wrestling World, and I know you've had some poor experiences with WWE 2K18, which you can listen to in our archives. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on Fire Pro Wrestling World.
I still don't know how to play.
Right.
It was basically just button mashing. Like, the closest I got to a move was Kota Ibushi jumping on the turnbuckle and doing a moonsault. You know how when two people are running, one person climbs and does a flip? Daniel Bryan.
Somersault, yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan does it, like, perfectly.
Sure.
Well, I did that, but there was no opponent with me, so I'm just looking like an idiot. I did a flip. Where are you? Anyway, I don't know how to play, but dang, it's fun.
How would you rate it using our scale?
A mid-card, because I don't know much, but I had fun. I like the idea of it's just simple wrestling. I don't need the 3D graphics of anything. Just a simple, it was a beat-em-up. I don't know the last time I played a wrestling beat-em-up.
You and I had a blast when I was playing as Toru Yano against Kojima.
You accidentally figured out how to mist.
How to green mist the guy. And that's the only move I tried to do for the entire match, and I never hit it once.
And you and I were just the entire time, like, we're trying to figure, that's how you missed. So now it's just about figuring out how to actually do it. It was so good.
We had a good time with it, I think. I had a good time. Did you?
I had fun.
Okay, good. The other thing I need you to review is you went to a Northland Wrestling show over the weekend.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And you saw a very interesting matchup at the beginning of the show.
At the beginning?
Yeah, it was the second match, technically, on the card. Third match overall.
Was it the third?
Yeah, because there's the dark match.
There was dark match. They did fantastic.
Then the women's tag team match.
That was the third. Okay, yes.
And then somebody you know against Ray Beauchamp in a street fight.
I screwed up.
You screwed up. How did you screw up? What do you mean?
So you had the reason I was able to go to this one, or that I even remembered that it was happening, was you wanted me or somebody to film it.
We needed a camera person. Normally we have our local TV station, Your TV, there to record it. Actually, that's usually what I'm doing on the shows is calling color commentary. Mm-hmm. But this was the first time ever where a Northland show would not be on YouTube. Do you need me to change some stuff up here?
No. I'm going to adjust my headphones. It's fine.
Okay.
Keep going. So it's the first time that it wasn't able to broadcast.
They weren't able to record it. We didn't have the team to record it. So basically, we kind of just did it real indie style, real do-it-yourselfer style. We had basically a call to action from everyone saying, does anybody got a camera? All right, great. And I do have a camera. As you would know, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe there so you can see all the great footage that Drew shot over the weekend once we get that video up and running. And then hit the notification button so you can know when we put those new videos out. So because I had a camera, I volunteered it, but we needed somebody to operate the camera since I would be getting my ass kicked in the third match.
Yeah.
So you volunteered so graciously.
Yeah, no worries. I thought it would be fun. New
Yeah.
experience, something new I haven't done before. And yeah, it was you in a no-holds-barred match.
That's right.
Against Ray Beauchamp is his name?
That's correct.
In a match that is best described as just a cluster mess.
Yeah, and I appreciate you censoring yourself there.
Yes, you're welcome. But organized cluster mess. There was a story there being told. However,
Good.
now I'm an auteur. I like
Yes.
to try and make things as personable and to help push the story forward. That's
Yes.
my
You are a storyteller.
I'm a
sir.
storyteller.
Yes.
And when you gave me the camera, I'm like, okay, maybe I can help tell this story a little bit. Like when in your no holds barred match, I try and shake the camera up because it's, nonsense.
right.
With the Rumble match, I'm trying to get the entrances so that
Yes,
everything stays
which was
consistent.
great. Thank you.
But anyway, so just with that in mind, I didn't know you were the bad guy. So when they said our next match is a no holds barred, and then they said Ray's name and start clapping, and now the truth, and I start applauding like
Because you
really
thought it was
loud.
Ron Killings.
Exactly. But no, I'm thinking, oh, it's my buddy. Okay, I'm gonna everybody hates him. And my girlfriend,
Not everybody. I had a smattering of about 4 people in the back there.
Oh,
that
I didn't
were
heir
cheering
them.
For me.
I didn't hear them. I just did that and went, oh. And then my girlfriend, who went with me to the show, looked up at me and just started laughing. Because I thought, okay, good to know. So he's
Yeah.
the bad guy in this story.
Yes. Did you enjoy the match?
Oh, I had so much fun.
Good. Was it fun watching me get pounded and beat up and humiliated and slapped around?
Yes, it was. Incredibly.
Were you living any fantasies out in the middle of the ring? Were you doing some wish fulfillment in there?
I was not doing wish fulfillment. I was doing appreciation of your face. There was.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I'm taking it as
So-
one. Thank you.
Your throne and your back takes a beating. Your crotch takes a beating. Your neck took a beating.
Yes.
But there was a thing about how you sold every small thing that was happening with the most over-exuberant face that you could possibly imagine.
I'm a
loved
big
it.
seller. I want
So
to make
good.
sure that my 4 fans in the very back of the building can see what I'm going through.
And then, kind of to spoil the show, but also not to spoil the show.
Right.
You were under the ring for a lot of that Rumble.
Well, basically, after the match was over, I crawled underneath the ring to catch my breath, and I ended up being under there for an entire matchup. Right before intermission came on, I crawled out, and everybody continued to make fun of me for losing. So it was a true heelish humiliation and exit from the company.
And I say this because I don't know if you're going to be able to piece it together. Because again, I had no idea what was going to happen with the show. So the camera's around my neck,
Right.
and all I hear is, "What? What? That's Adam. What's going on?" And then I see you arguing with the referee, and I'm like, "Oh, this is wrestling story." So then I run and record the camera.
But you had a good time.
I had a lovely time.
Good. Make sure that if you aren't following Northland Wrestling yet on their Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram, go check them out. I'm sure they've already put a highlight video out there featuring some of that footage, and I'm sure they're going to put something together. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun so you can watch me get my butt kicked. If you've ever been listening to this thinking, this guy's voice is nails on a chalkboard, I hate him. First of all, why are you listening to these podcasts? Especially since I'm on so many of them. That's ridiculous. Stop doing that. And instead, tell your friends about us on our social medias. We're on a bunch of different platforms. Drew, which platforms are we on?
The Facebook.
We are on the Facebook,
I know the
yeah.
Facebook and the Twitters.
That's true.
We on Instagram?
We are on the Instagram. We
Yeah.
are on the Gram.
Nice. Okay.
Are you on the Gram personally?
Define on it. I have an account.
Okay, good.
I got one picture.
That's amazing.
It's my toe.
Plug it. What is it?
It's my toe.
No. But I mean, what's your Instagram?
No, Sir F word. Like no one else has put that together. No one else is. There's that username I could put for everything.
Right.
'Cause no one else has that.
And I know that is your username on Twitter.
It is.
So there you have it. I was going to wait till the end of the episode to let you plug all that stuff, but we're all going to do it all together right now.
What am I plugging?
You,
I do
yourself.
nothing. I do. That is for literally my social media is a way to people get in contact with me. I'm not on that.
Well, maybe our listeners want to get in contact with you.
The Sir F word everywhere.
All right. There
Done.
you go.
I don't.
Word everywhere.
I don't need to do like a 5-minute spiel because you like variety of all of your wrestling stuff.
Well, okay. So if they're not interested in you then, and they're more interested in our podcast and WrestleMedia, what are they going to be searching for on all those platforms?
WrestleMedia.ca?
Minus the dot. Yes.
WrestleMedia.ca.
Exactly.
Okay.
WrestleMedia.ca is the platform. There you go. All right, man. I think it's time to ask a very important question, one that we ask every single week. Drew?
What in the Hoboken hubbubaloo does this have to do with professional wrestling?
Thank you for bringing up Hoboken. As we know, it does play a, not vital role, but a good joke.
A role.
Good joke later.
I mean, it does play a role in the plot.
And speaking of playing roles, one of the major roles is played by our wrestling connection, Dave Bautista, Big Dave, the Animal. What did you think of him in this I was going to say in this show, and then I stopped halfway.
I did not think you were going to show.
No. No, we'll get to that. What did you think of him in this?
Good.
I thought he was good, too.
He was good. I mean, Here's the thing. Dustin Hoffman had...
I can't wait to see where you're going with this.
Had horrible lines in Meet the Fockers.
Yeah.
Technically garbage lines. The only
I'm
reason...
pretty sure everybody had garbage lines in that movie.
Him especially.
Yeah.
But the only way his really worked is because it's Dustin frickin' Hoffman.
Right.
All right? You can give that man terrible lines. He will sell it. That is a one-of-a-kind talent, 1 in a million.
It's like Alan Rickman in Robin Hood.
Well, he came up with that.
Okay.
See, he came up with his own garbage. So
all right, forget it.
Dustin Hoffman took somebody else's garbage and made it his gold.
All right, pretend I didn't say anything.
So
I'll edit that out.
Dave Bautista doesn't have gold to work with, and he's a wrestler. He's a fantastic wrestler, just getting his foot in the acting game. So he's not at the caliber.
Is he just getting, though? I think he's been in there long enough. I could consider him an actor.
He's an actor, but I'm like Dustin Hoffman, Anthony Hopkins. I'm going
so
on
he's
Gary
not an
Oldman.
A-list actor yet.
He's not. Actor is not his first profession. Wrestling is still first. He hasn't surpassed that with his acting yet. So he doesn't have the caliber to sell horrible lines. Granted, he's playing a very reserved character, so it's not like he has to do much. His physical acting is what sold it. It's just he was working with bad lines, and there were moments he could not sell that garbage.
And see, that's what I kind of like about him in this movie and this role. And I think maybe the reason he took it is that because it's not your traditional pro wrestler goes in and destroys stuff. He does have a few fight scenes, but for the most part, he's acting in this. He's not being hired because he can do stunts. He's not being hired because he can fight. He's hired to act, and he actually holds up his end of the bargain pretty well, I'd say.
Also, he was hired because he was an executive producer.
True, but at the same time, you know, he has to, like, he's gone on record as saying that he doesn't just do any movie that comes across his desk. He wants to do roles that are going to make him a better actor. And I think that this is a prime example that you could point to it to say that if this is not something that he's comfortable with, or it's not something you're used to seeing him in, it's pretty far away from Drax, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But it's going to give him that opportunity to grow as an actor. And I hope he takes on more roles like this. I think Big Dave is a better actor than people give him credit for.
He is a good actor.
Yeah.
But my thing is just he's not a phenomenal actor that can sell the garbage, but that's nothing against him. That's just go into that mentality.
Sure.
I just wanted to, that's why I'm going to have a problem with some of the dialogue, because it's not the actors.
Right.
It's the dialogue.
Yeah, which is not good in this.
The worst thing about this movie to me.
Here's the thing, though. I think it is really bad when it's in there, but I think there's a lot of this movie that is dialogue less. A lot of this movie is show instead of tell.
And that's good.
And that's the good stuff.
When it's tell, it's horrible tell.
I will agree. It's one of the weakest things in the movie is that the exposition dumps and the dialogue that is strictly there to get us to the next point is not strong at all. It's too bad because let me just say, with the exception of Batista's speech, his little monologue at the end of the movie is good. And I think he really does well with it. As a matter of fact, it reminded me a lot of the speech that Ben gives in Night of the Living Dead, when he's talking about first arriving and finding the undead are up and around and having to actually kill one and the trauma that put him through. I actually think it's a pretty good speech. It reminds me of that scene, and I was impressed the way Dave handled it, to be honest with you. So, yes, the dialogue is pretty bad throughout most of the film, but there is some... That does have that one glimmer of hope there.
That one fleckle.
Yeah, but I did want to give the devil its due and say, okay, that was a good speech. And again, I think a lot of it is because of its delivery. The way Dave delivers it helps take it from bad to good territory.
Because he's talking to also the audience, which is a lot different than communicating with a different actor.
Absolutely.
Because you have to make sure that the chemistry is working and that both of you understand the directions of your characters. Whereas if it's you delivering a scene, it's up to you to be the character. It's not about her reaction. It's about engaging the audience. It was a different caliber of screenwriting.
Well, Lucy is also the point of view character, too, though. Lucy is supposed to be the audience who is the person that, imagine if you woke up and there was a new civil war happening. What would your reaction be? And
oh, yeah, spoiler.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we're here to talk about the movie. Should we run down the plot really quick then?
I mean, yeah, sure, why not? It's pretty simple.
Okay, so basically this story follows Lucy, who is a Bushwick resident. Bushwickian, who gets basically caught in the middle of the beginnings of a new civil war brought on, which from Texas and some other southern states. It's revealed later on that Texas and a few other southern states have decided to secede from the United States, and they have launched is it really an invasion? I guess an inner invasion?
It's still an invasion.
Okay, so they've launched an invasion.
It's an invasion on society and political view.
An invasion on the North, if you will.
That works.
So it's an invasion
on the Yanks.
On the Yanks. They decide to target Bushwick, because we all know that's the heart of America. And so they've decided to bring their big helicopters and their military guys and get in there and try to just basically start a war, a new civil war. Lucy comes across Batista, who plays Stoop.
Great name. Great. Why? Stu would have worked.
Maybe he was just like, I have a feeling I'm going to be in another movie using the name Stu, and I don't want to confuse people.
Oh, yeah, because everybody who's going to see...
Stuber.
You know what? That legitimately might be... I don't know. Regardless, it's a terrible name.
Yeah, it's not a great name. But she comes across him. He's ex-military, ex-Marine, to be more specific. And they have to try and make their way through this new hell, this new civil war that has come across America. Honestly, I don't have a problem with that basic concept. I like that concept.
It's an interesting
cool idea.
Twist on Red Dawn.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Or any kind of invasion kind of movie.
Well, I like looking at Red Dawn because they're caught in the middle and they have to learn about the ways of war throughout this with an assistance. There is a lot of invasion movies, but this one just kind of felt like small, but in a big scale. Right? Because in Red Dawn, if you don't know, Red Dawn is about China invading U.S. And in the original, I think it's Patrick Swayze. Is he in Red Dawn?
I don't know. Ask in a higher pitch. Maybe we'll know.
Is Patrick Swayze in Red Dawn? I'm going to look that up. But anyway, in the original Red Dawn, the Chinese come in and it's about Patrick Swayze and his group of friends.
Is it the Chinese?
Yes.
It's not the Koreans.
It's not the Koreans.
I thought it was North Korea.
This was too close to the Korean War, so it didn't feel... apropos or appropriate.
Right. Sure. As opposed to the remake where they're like, let's get the Russians in here.
Yeah, no, the remake. The remake with Chris Hemsworth and...
was it Chris Hemsworth or Liam?
Chris. It was Chris Hemsworth and...
that's unfortunate.
Josh from Drake and Josh. I don't know his actual name.
Okay.
Wait, you don't like Chris Hemsworth as an actor?
No, but I'm saying poor Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, okay.
I feel bad for Thor.
Don't worry. He also...
he'll be all right.
He had Rush that same year.
That's true.
So he balanced it out.
Okay.
Anyway, where was I going with that?
You were talking about invasion movies.
Oh, yeah. So Red Dawn, that's the basic premise. And then Patrick Swayze and his group of friends have to kind of learn about war tactics and strategy to at least defend themselves until help arrives.
Okay.
So that's kind of what... except instead of help arriving, they're going to help. And instead of a group, it's one person being taught by a former military.
Okay. Quick question. What do you think is the best invasion movie?
Probably Red Dawn.
Okay. Quick question. What are your thoughts on the Invasion pay-per-view?
I have never seen it.
Ooh. Well, now
I had to remember
now
that.
we have a project for Drew, don't we?
Is this a new to Drew thing?
This will be a new to Drew thing, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It'll be a big one, too, because it's a pay-per-view, so we'll have to sit down and really break it down for him.
Oh, good God.
Maybe we'll do one match from the pay-per-view.
I was going to say, what if we do like a match, like have it release like every week, but just do match after match after match?
Maybe. We'll see
it. We'll figure it out.
Let us know on our social media.
How would you like me to watch Invasion? Yeah, anyway, back to the point of the actual movie itself. It is a great take on a premise that's been done over and over and over again. And I wasn't sold on it immediately. I don't know if you were.
I was.
As soon as the man came down from the stairs, I started laughing.
Okay.
Because his screaming was so
the guy on
over
fire?
the top. Yeah.
Oh, no, that was great. I love that. I was just like, whoa, I will say this. I didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it either, but I don't think my intention was to go, I think I should be afraid at this moment. Where it's like, if it was a burn, like when the boyfriend arrives completely burnt and falls over.
Yeah.
That kind of got me a little bit more than fire guy running around and screaming like nonsense.
Right. Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today.
Anyway, so throughout this movie, I'm just going like, oh, and by the way, this is also like, what if a guy played Call of Duty and watched Birdman and wanted to make a movie?
Okay, so let's talk about that. That makes it sound like you did not like the first-person perspective, and you didn't like the fact that it felt like a video game.
No, hang on. I'm getting there.
Okay.
So you start realizing that, a lot of this is one take.
Yeah.
Like, it's shot as one take.
They're very long takes.
If you're paying attention, they're actually not that long because there's a few camera tricks along the way. The longest shot by my timer was about 5 minutes.
Sure.
But anyway,
it feels longer.
They wanted it to feel like a one take until like the 20-minute mark where they go from the roof to the ground because
Sure.
I'm just assuming that would have been boring. Just going back from the place that's already got killed people or dead people. That's what you call them. But anyway, I'm watching this and going, what are they
Night of the Living Killed was the original title for the George Romero flick, by the way.
Nice. So I'm watching it trying to figure out, like, what are they doing? Like, what is the purpose of this? What are they trying to do? Are they just trying to emulate Birdman? Like, what's going on? And that's when it hit me. When they have the dumpster and they're using that dumpster to maneuver across the sidewalk and you see sparks flying off and bullets ricocheting off of it, it's a video game.
Yeah, well, that's immediately what it is. What it feels like, kind of.
That's when it hit me, though, at that moment, and then I started watching it as a Call of Duty cutscene movie,
a first-person shooter. Yeah,
yeah, but like if you can go on YouTube and get rid of all the gameplay and just watch the cutscenes, that is this movie. It doesn't have a great plot because you're not there for the plot; you're there to be the protagonist.
I don't necessarily know if it's great, but it's simple. I'll say that. It's simple plot, but I don't know that I would qualify it as bad. Just it's simple.
Yeah, simple is probably a better word.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a simple plot. It's a video game plot.
Yeah.
And then when you start looking at it from that way, like maybe Last of Us, then it starts to be a little more interesting. And then
I'll tell you, I liked it a lot. Did you like that it felt like a video game or not?
Once it clicked in and I watched it as such, it was far more entertaining.
Okay.
Because it's like I'm going into a superhero movie because I'm expecting a superhero movie. I'm going into a Mission Impossible movie because I'm expecting a stunt fest.
Sure.
I just didn't know what to expect.
Because you were going in cold to this one.
Yeah, I didn't watch a trailer.
Right.
I didn't know the plot. It was just pure. I needed. And some movies.
How could you? You couldn't even remember the name.
Exactly. And a lot of movies take the time with their introduction to set up before the inciting incident.
Yeah, and they don't in this.
There's no introduction. It's inciting incident in the first minute and a half.
Yeah, you just jump right in.
And then you have to learn as it goes on, which can be a detriment if you don't know what you're going into.
I liked it though. For me, that had me hooked. That actually is a gimmick that really works well with me, I guess, as a viewer, because I enjoyed it. I liked the first person perspective too. I thought that made it feel more intimate. I thought that made me feel like I was there. And I mean, if you're just looking at it from a practical standpoint, it's a great way to hide any things that your budget can't afford. I thought all the effects in this looked good too. The action was well shot. There is a lot about this movie that I really dig and I really like. I got a little bit of a Purge vibe from it, clearly. When you see people rioting in the streets and killing each other, immediately it's one of the first movies you kind of compare it to. But again, I don't think any of those comparisons are negative. I liked all that stuff. That's all stuff that I put in the thumbs up category. But I do have some major issues with this film, starting with the ending.
You didn't like the ending?
No, not at all. I thought that at a certain point, there's 20 minutes left to fill the runtime, and they had no idea what to do. I think they made the same mistake that Kevin Smith almost made with Clerks, which is, we don't know how to end this. Let's just kill our main characters.
I mean, kind of did.
That's what I'm saying.
They killed half of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I felt like that was completely unsatisfactory. And here's the thing. I don't mind having an unsatisfactory ending if you're trying to make a point. But what was the point? Why kill those characters? Why?
Yeah, so here's a good purposeful non-ending would be The Social Network.
Yeah.
So The Social Network doesn't necessarily end.
No.
The story keeps going afterwards, but an arc has ended. So in Social Network's case, Andrew Garfield's character, the Winklevoss twins, Mark Zuckerberg, I couldn't remember his freaking name. Their arcs end, their stories continue. So even though it's not the end of Facebook, it's not the end of his relationship to that girl where he tried to get a friend request, it's not the end of the lawsuit. Well, I don't think the lawsuit actually wrapped up in that movie either. I might be mistaken on that part. I think the lawsuit was still going on, but every character had a beginning, middle, and end, and this is where they continue off. And since it's based off a real event, you can look it up to see what happened next. That is the quintessential non-ending ending.
Even if you felt like it was a dissatisfactory ending, which I personally didn't, you're right. It is an ending. It is definitely an ending for those characters and the story that they were telling. I don't think that this was anything except shock value. It was, oh my God, they killed Batista. He was like one of the main characters. And then they kill Lucy at the end just to be like, aha, you thought we were done? No, we're going to take it one step further and shock you with it. And
not only that, it turns out all of New York is under war. Ha ha! Screw your optimism.
I don't understand what the point of it was. It made no sense to me. And it feels like even in the filming, when you watch this movie, you ask a lot more questions in the last 20 minutes of this movie than the other hour of it.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things in that last 20 minutes that make no sense. Why does the preacher kill himself?
Because he can't handle war.
No, it's stupid. It's bad. They're like, okay, so we're building up to this. They're going to get there. They're going to get to the church. And then they're going to find the priest and he's going to kill himself. First of all, if they could get all those people to the laundromat without the priest, what was the point of going to see the priest? Why was he so important? Clearly he wasn't. They killed him, and then they were able to get going. It was just to fill time, or again, to give us a shocking moment of, oh, look at how intense this is. This man of God is going to kill himself. It's that bad. It's really not that bad. Even in the whole grand scheme of it, it's like, okay, a small part of Brooklyn is under attack. That's pretty awful, and yes, it's scary, but these people are acting like it's the apocalypse, and it's like, it's not that bad, guys.
See, they made the mistake a few times of referencing 9/11, which was a real tragic event that will bring back a lot of real memories.
Sure.
So when you say that, and then you put this on the same caliber of what's happening there, it just doesn't feel the same, because it's America attacking America, which is a completely different scenario to what happened.
Who did this idea right? Attack the Block.
Ooh, yes.
Small, contained, but felt important because it made it important to those people in that area. So that's the first thing that makes me go, okay, we're veering a little off the rail here. We're still on the rail, but we're veering a little bit. Then we get to the laundromat. We have the heartfelt scene. And then a random scared woman shoots Batista in the bathroom. Now, here's the thing. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. That's an interesting twist. This woman was just scared and she shot. But Lucy, who has been kind of like the emotional core of this movie the entire time, the person who has stopped and helped every stranger, suddenly just goes, get out of here! Go! Why all of a sudden this complete different character turn? Why? Because they don't know why that girl is there. They just needed somebody to kill Batista in the third act, and then she's gone. It makes no sense. It's dumb.
And it's not where I thought the movie was going.
But here's the thing. You know what this is? This is a Vince Russo swerve for the sake of a swerve. That's what it is. It's them going, ha, you didn't see that coming, did you, bro? Ha, chick in the bathroom. Bang, bang.
I was anticipating like a lot more betrayal. Like when the preacher was coming up as a character, my initial thought was like he was the reason they invaded.
Yeah.
Like they were able to sneak in weapons or whatnot or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like he was the hub.
Like he was the mole.
They used the Catholic Church to kind of sneak in the tools. Like that's where I thought it was going. And then with that, I think they revealed the Civil War thing far too early. I think that should have been the final climactic
the big twist
moment.
At the end.
It got me thinking of Planet of the Apes, like the original Charles Bronson.
Wow. That's not it.
Houston. Charles Heston?
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston.
But I will say this. I now want to see a version of the Planet of the Apes with Charles Bronson from Death Wish.
That's who. Okay. That's where my brain went. But
Your apes are going to wish you were dead.
Fantastic. So with that in mind, like, have the movie build up. Like, maybe James and his mother were from the South and they heard about it but told no one.
Yeah, okay,
maybe the preacher was. Maybe have it like everybody being betrayal except for Batista and Lucy.
Sure.
Or Stewart. Whatever. Stupid.
You can call him Batista. That's fine.
Cool. I tried. I just couldn't remember that stupid frickin' name. I said frickin'. It's fine.
Stupid Stoop.
Stoop. That's it. That's his name. Stoop.
DJ Stupid Stoop.
DJ Stoop. All right. Anyway, I thought that's what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was betraying except those two, you know, kind of as like a moniker for America betraying itself, you know.
Right.
A little heavy-handed, but so's the movie.
Yep.
And then, like, the ending would be the reveal of, like, what was the preacher doing? What were James and the mother feeling guilty about? And then they realize it's because America's at war. So imagine Planet of the Apes, like, he realizes that, no, this is my home. And when they just thought that this war was simply in
Brooklyn.
Bushwick. When they thought it was just in Bushwick.
Bush League.
Bush League. Have them, I don't know, be at a tower or rescued by America and realize that this is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was called Bushwick.
How about this? They get to the helicopters pull away, and then we see them, and they're actually heading to POW camps.
And maybe that could be why there was a helicopter in the opening shot.
That's right. Exactly.
I see
because they think they're being rescued, and it turns out, no, because the attack is coming from America. They just saw America, and they were like, all right, those are our guys. And it's like, no, it's not your guys.
Because that's when my original thought was invasion. When it was an invasion, it was an outlying country. So the big twist at the end, having it be a fight in America.
It's actually America.
And not only that, it's not just isolated in New York.
It's everywhere.
That I thought would have been a much more satisfying
I agree.
ending.
That's a way better satisfying ending than shoot Batista and then kill Lucy too.
And Preacher dies for no reason.
Like, I get the idea if they're trying to be like, we never, like, because this is an actual fact. You don't show women getting shot in the head in movies.
No.
You never do that.
That gets you an X rating.
Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely took some guts to do something like that, but it felt like it was shock for the sake of shock value as opposed to some actual purpose behind it. Okay, so that being said, we've talked about what we liked. We've talked about what we didn't like. Is there anything that we've glossed over that you wanted to just quickly mention?
Nothing that's coming to mind. I really wanted to talk about the ending and the one take. How it started off annoying. No, I think I covered everything.
Okay. How do you rate the movie?
Mid-card.
Okay.
It's a good Netflix throwaway. You're looking for a simple action movie. It's going to entertain you. It's maybe not everybody's going to be entertained. Maybe the standards are too high. But if you go in thinking it's a video game movie, but it's a video game cutscene movie, you'll enjoy yourself.
I'm also going to rate it a mid-card. As I said earlier, I liked a lot of stuff in this movie. So much so that I do recommend people at least give this one a watch. I can't sit there and actually say skip the last 20 minutes because then you miss the end of the movie. And there is some good stuff in there from a visual perspective. I wish there was a director's cut. Like, there was just an hour long with all the dialogue stuff taken out and just have the action. And it might have even been better. But there is a lot there to nitpick at it that I can't make it a main event. And that's what upsets me, I think, the most, is that I feel like this could have been a main event movie. This like undiscovered little gem had the writing been a bit better, especially in that third act. But that being said, I still recommend it. Big Dave is really good in this. So if you're a fan of him, I say watch it. If you like kind of those long cuts or perspective, if you're a technical person, I think it's an okay movie to watch. You get something out of it.
Yeah, if you're looking at it from a technical standpoint, it's not the best.
Okay. Well, see, I disagree with that. I actually found the stuff that because I know some of that stuff too, and I found I enjoyed the movie because of it. So anybody listening to this podcast who wants to watch a Bugden or Bush League or Bushwick, whatever we're calling it, Bushwick, let us know what you thought about it in our social media, because we'd love to hear from you guys on that. All right, so we've had a chance to review the film. Coming up for our patron portion, we're going to talk about some fun facts. We're going to get into some budgetary information. We're going to see how critics and audiences felt about this movie. But I kind of want to dig a little deeper as well, Drew. I want to kind of talk more about the underlying themes of this movie and applying that to the real world a little bit.
Oh, crap.
No, I don't think it'll be depressing. I'm just curious to see your thoughts on this sort of stuff.
Bring it to the real... We live in a depressing world.
Yeah, we do, but that's why I think we need to talk about these things.
All right.
Don't get too excited for the podcast or anything like that. Of course, if you are excited to hear about that kind of stuff, you can also become one of our patrons to hear the patron portion. Drew, how would they do that?
They can go to WrestleMedia.ca, and that will direct you to a little button that takes you to Patreon. Because apparently searching in Patreon is just absolute garbage.
Is it difficult?
It is hard.
I've never found it difficult.
It is hard. Like,
that's fine. I'm just saying I've personally never found
a few YouTube channels that I enjoy. I had to go directly to their description to find a link, because searching in Patreon was an absolute nightmare. Right. So what I recommend is going to WrestleMedia.ca, finding that little Patreon button, clicking that, following it up, and seeing what you get by helping us.
That's a good call right there. Smart man, Drew. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And for just a few ducats in the bucket every month, you can get extra content like the patron portions of these shows, exclusive shows like our quick picks. I know that we've got some coming up for this weekend's just massive amount of pro wrestling that's going to be happening on Saturday, which I'm very excited about. And of course, some other great content that we have for you. They're all at different levels, so you can get different tiers and get different rewards. It's awesome. Go check it out. Patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. But there are other ways you can support us. Drew, if you were Dave Meltzer, and you really enjoyed this podcast, how many stars would you rate it? 5. Right. And people listening to this podcast, maybe on, say, Apple or the iTunes format, if they were Dave Meltzer, how would they rate this podcast? How could they do that?
They click stars.
That's right. How many?
I don't know. Do they do 6, or is that just him being obnoxious?
That's just Meltzer.
Oh, okay. 5.
There you go. All right. Yes, you could be our personal Dave Meltzer and give us 5 stars, rate us and review us on iTunes. But of course, there's lots of ways to listen to this podcast: Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. They can just share it. They can just pass it on to people. Drew, you yourself, how many people have you shared this podcast with?
5.
There you go.
I can point out the exact 5 people and the exact 5 episodes that I've shared.
Drew, what's 5 plus 3?
8.
Oh my God. Can't even get that right. I'm sorry.
No, 5 plus 3 is 8. Don't you say that to me.
Did I say 5 plus 3?
Yes.
Then I just screwed up. I'm sorry. Never mind. You can mumble something disappointedly now if you wish.
There you
go. All right. Now, if you want more of that craziness, we have a whole bunch of other shows on our network at WrestleMedia.ca, but maybe you're just don't have time for that. Maybe you've only got a select number of minutes in the morning to get your information about our network. How many minutes do you usually have in the morning to read newsletters?
2.
The answer is 5, you numbskull. Never mind. Why
are you feeding me stuff I don't know the answer to?
We have a newsletter is the correct answer.
That's 5. What is the 5 purpose? You don't need 5 minutes to read a newsletter. It takes 2.
Well, if you're reading ours, it might take you 5 because it's jam-packed with so much stuff, Drew, including all the highlights of the week, exclusive contents, and even some exclusive contests as well. Content and contests. Put those together.
Oh, I should not have. That was your fault.
Easy for you to say, Drew. That's what we'll say. It's very easy for you to say. All right, I think that's going to do it for the free portion of the show. Anything you want to talk about before we swing it on over to the patron portion?
My challenge.
Yes.
For this week.
Yes, what's your challenge?
Is I want you to go through the history of the story modes in professional wrestling when they existed.
Is this for video games?
Yep. For the video games. Okay. For the 2Ks, for the SmackDown v Raws.
Right.
For the Shut Your Mouths.
The No Mercies.
For the No Mercies.
Right.
For the, I don't know what WCW, they had like a Go Nitro or something? What was it called?
Did you just say Go Nitro?
Yeah. What was it called?
Amazing. I don't care. It's Go Nitro now.
Now my brain hurts.
Go Nitro.
What was it? It was
I want a t-shirt that says WCW Go Nitro. That's amazing.
What was the actual video game called?
Nitro.
Was it Nitro?
Well, yeah, because the show was Monday Nitro.
No, but they had 2 games.
Nitro and Thunder.
Yeah. What was the other one?
Which were their TV shows. They also had WCW, NWO versus, or World Tour versus the World, Revenge,
World Tour.
Mayhem, Backstage Assault. You want me to keep going?
No, because I already told you the one that I was thinking of.
Okay.
Anyways, most of those had a story mode.
Some of them did.
And I want you to tell me what story mode from a WWE video game would actually work in an actual storyline.
Okay. There we go. I'm sure that they can come up with a few of those. So thank you for that. Next week, Drew, I'm so excited about this. We're doing something a little ambitious, and we're bringing in our first ever guest to the podcast. I've actually gotten some messages from listeners wanting to know, hey, Glow's been out for like a couple weeks now. Why haven't you guys covered it?
I'm busy.
That's not the real reason, Drew. You're not busy. It's because we wanted to do something special for Glow, since we're big fans of it. We both watched the first and second season and we reviewed it here on Ropes to Reels. But we felt like it would be kind of unfair to review it here on Ropes to Reels alone when we also now have Women Crush Wrestling, which is, kind of an appropriate show to review it on as well. So next week, we're going to have a triple threat. It's me, it's Drew, it's just Jenny. We're going to review Glow Season 3 back-to-back here on Ropes to Reels, and Women Crush Wrestling. Episodes 1 through 5 will be reviewed here on Ropes to Reels. Episodes 6 through 10 will be on Women Crush Wrestling. So you have that to look forward to next week. It's going to be interesting. I know you don't play well with others, Drew, so I'm curious to see how this goes.
Oh, is that me to talk? I thought that's how you were wrapping it up.
Well, it will be.
See, I don't play well with even like people I like.
You don't even play well with electronics.
You are throwing this around. This is not my fault. You bundled up these wires. This is not me.
No, I have to get the new ones. That's my problem.
Can I unwind this? Because this is driving me absolutely nuts.
So Drew's going to unwind a little bit while we switch over to the patron portion. And in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. Whether you paid us a portion for a patronage or you're just listening to us for free, we love that you listen. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting WrestleMedia. And for Ropes to Reels, on behalf of WrestleMedia, I'm at Adam Conta.
I think I broke it.
And when it comes to Bushwick, yeah, that's what it's called. That's a wrap.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything.
Here's what you're missing out on right now over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.
To do a civil uprising, you need a lot of people, right?
A lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts. A lot of, you have to go through SWAT. You got to go through, in case it happens, a military.
Yeah.
Right? So, you have to get a big group of people to be a part of that. And what group of people would like to get together and form a militia and attack the government? Idiots. So one of those idiots is going to blab it to the wrong person, and they're going to say, it might not happen, but if it does, here's a security measure so we can know about it hours before, and when they roll up on their stupid little tugboats, we've got like an M19 pointed at them.
I love the fact that you immediately go to tugboats as the vehicle of choice for the uprising.
I was thinking Louisiana, and it's like the first boat that I thought of in Louisiana.
Or maybe it's just because Tugboat is a friend of WrestleMedia. There you go, Shockmaster. Want more? Sign up now at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.